get people in. Well, good afternoon. My name is Leif Bloomquist, and I'm going to be showing off a project I've been doing for the last couple of months. Some of you might have seen an earlier version of this in Chicago at the Emergency Chicagoland Commodore Convention. So my project is basically this. It's a motion sensing gaming glove for the Commodore 64. It's the Nintendo Power Glove was a little before my time, but people have certainly drawn parallels to it. And I hear the Nintendo Power Glove was really bad in both the Michael Jackson sense and the not so good sense. So apparently this one sucks less. So I think I've achieved something there. So here's a bit of history where I came from this. So some of you know one of my other hobbies is working on electronic music, and through part of that I've run into some people at OCAD, the Ontario College of Art and Design University, and they have a fascinating project called Wearable Technology. You can do a master's thesis in wearable technology. So I've been going to some of their free seminars and chatting with people, and I have a colleague there named Loretta Faveri who's designed something called SonicWear, so a little device called SOMO. It's a little circuit board about yay big. The idea is that a dancer would wear this, and as he or she dances, it generates music notes in real time. So you can have a live performance instead of the dancer dancing to the music. It's the other way around. So I was an early adopter of this, and I've been giving her suggestions, and I got a bunch of prototype units. But then, of course, I put on my mad scientist hat and thought, what are some crazy things I could do with this that's Commodore related? And I realized that it's an open platform based on the Arduino, so it's very easy to program, very easy to customize to other things. And so what I've done is turn it into this gaming glove. So on board, this is one of the SOMO things here that I've hacked. On board is the microprocessor running the Arduino firmware, a 9-degree of freedom accelerometer, gyroscope, and magnetometer. So that gives you lateral motion, rotational motion, and direction. And all of that is very simply available to you. And then it uses a wireless device called the XB to transmit the data back to the computer. Now the XB can be used in two different modes. It does RS-232 serial. It also does something called I/O reflection. And I/O reflection means that when the signal is high or low on this end, on the microprocessor, it becomes a virtual wire and replicates it on that end. So it's actually really easy to plug into the 64's joystick port and stimulate, instead of music notes, have up, down, left, right. And we didn't have, for an input for a fire button, what I've done is I bought the silver stuff on here is conductive fabric. It's actually quite nice, feels like silk, but it's conductive. You hook an ohm meter up to it and it's 0 ohms. So you can run electric circuits through fabric. And then I've wired that into one of the inputs on the microprocessor. Okay, any questions on the little bit of background there? Yes,
the thumb, is there anything special about the thumb?
It's just the two pieces of conductive fabric run into the microprocessor, one of the I/O pins.
So the thumb doesn't do anything special?
It's just a fire button.
Oh, there's a fire button?
It's a fire button, yeah.
Okay.
So I've gone through some of this. So one of the easiest pieces of data to get out of the accelerometer is the gravity vector. So it gives you 3 components of the gravity vector, because we live in a 3-dimensional universe, giving you the X, Y, Z components. So I just take that gravity vector and apply a deadband, saying if it's here, then that's nothing. Just tilt a little bit, the gravity vector tilts, and that's left, that's right, and then same for up and down. And then, like I've said before, I've got the conductive fabric for the fire button. And a little bit of circuit diagram. This is just tracing the signal all the way through. So the Arduino calculates up, down, left, right, and then it reads from the IMU, the 9-degree of freedom chip, and then I have an input for fire. It goes over to XB. We had to add a couple of extra wires between the microprocessor and the XB. I have a friend named Eric who can do all that really fiddly soldering, so I'm very grateful that he did that for me. Then it goes over the wireless. It uses a protocol called 802.15 Zigbee. It's received by the XB on this end, and this XB is just powered right off the Commodore's joystick port. Then I go through what's called a 74 LSO5 hex inverter. And the reason I picked that chip is because now I'm not an electronic engineer by trade, but it's an open collector, meaning that when it's low, it pulls to ground. But when it's high, it doesn't go to 1, it just disconnects completely, which is exactly what a Commodore joystick does. So it's the perfect chip for emulating a Commodore joystick. And then I plug it into the 64 joystick port, and off you go. Any questions on that? I explained it too well. So that's it for theory. I guess you want to see it in action.
What's the range?
Apparently when you're outdoors, the XB can get to a mile or 2. Okay, sorry for that.
You can miss somebody far away.
So I'm going to fire up my favorite game ever, which is called Zone Ranger. So as for range, this is the one drive the cameraman crazy and we'll walk around the room. So I can play from way back here. Because it's just emulating a joystick, I can run any game. I've also played around with doing the GEOS, which is the graphical requirement for the 64. So it's kind of like a 1980s Minority Report and waving my hand around with this, these chunky 8-bit graphics up on the screen. Well, that's basically my demo. I'm going to have this all set up over at my table in the corner back there if you want to come and try it out. But any more questions? Yes?
Are you going to sell a kit?
I think I am. I think there's been, this got featured on Hackaday about a month ago, which was pretty fun. And I'm seriously considering, now that Kickstarter is available in Canada, of putting up a Kickstarter project and just see what the interest is.
You don't really need the glove though, do you? You can just strap it on your hand.
Right. Yeah, you need something for the fire button to rig something up. Yeah, I got the glove in Chinatown for $3.
You could have a ring around your fingers.
Yep. Yeah, lots of different form factors it could appear in.
It'll work with Amiga too, right?
I'm not sure what the Amiga input is. If it's digital I/O, then it should work.
Technically, you should be able to use it on Atari.
Yeah, well,
It's the same.
I thought the Amiga was the same too.
okay.
Yes, it is. For joysticks, it's different for mice. But
Okay. Yeah, it should work. We wanted to try it in Chicago on an Atari, but the Atari folks had the ones with the crazy 45-degree joystick ports,
Yeah.
and I couldn't actually get the plug in. So, in theory, it should work as long as it follows the same pin out, which I believe they do, and has 5 volts available. Then, yeah, it would work.
You might just have to make it narrower and longer if you wanted to broaden your market for that.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
that it'll fit anywhere.
Yeah, I have in mind to, again, if it goes ahead with Kickstarter and everything, I might do this anyway just for my own education, is design a little circuit board that contains all this. And it would be a little thing about the size of a USB key that you would plug in. It would be the receiver for one of these. Great, thank you very much. Oh,
Just
Tom.
before you go, can you do me a favor and stand beside the screen and do your demonstration with your glove?
All right. Yeah, except
This way people can see your hand actions